Ah yes, Counter-Strike 1.6, the original. But why this number? Nothing officially suggests that. Okay, well, let's not beat around the bush here. Most of us know the answer. The first commercial release, as with most games, is version 1.0, and over time it would receive patches. Since this is pre-Steam era, the way it works is you have to keep up with the blogs at the time, and when a new version is out, you had to download the patch and go through the process manually. The game was also separated between standalone and mod version. Sounds complicated today, but it was easier than you might think. This went on from 2000 to 2002 and features the most substantial changes, some graphical, others mechanical. This is known as the World Opponent Network era, as through this now deceased service is how the game was played online. People would ascribe a moniker to each version to distinguish them because some servers would not be using the latest patch, so this naming just stuck. But since 2003, the Steam launcher came into existence with the idea to streamline the update process and fix this patch disparity issue, also revolutionizing the PC gaming space, but that's besides the point. CS moved to this launcher, of course, starting with version 1.6, and that is where it comes from. It does also differentiate it these days from other titles, much more recognizable than calling it OG CS or the first CS. Because there were no more major updates, 1.6 was considered the final version, but that is technically not true. You might not know this, but this game has received a multitude of updates that are bigger than you might think. It's got quite the interesting timeline, and they haven't really stopped. Last one as of right now is from December 2023, so let's go through all of them and figure out the current version. Starting off in January 2003, the official CS blog announces the start of the Steam public beta, which will exclusively host the coming 1.6 updates. What does it offer? 2 new weapons, the Galil and FAMAS. Yeah, you might think these rifles were always there, but nope, completely new. The dreaded Riot Shield was introduced, new versions of Inferno, Aztec, and Airstrip. Glock damage got slightly increased, it still sucks honestly. Training map has been removed, Bomb Diffuser, or the one who planted the bomb and exploded, gets 3 frags. This always kinda bothered me because frags are frags, not points, but okay. Widescreen support, tons of UI changes, and a slew of bug fixes. Oh, also Dust 2, Inferno, Estate, Nuke, and Vertigo were added because they were missing from the retail version. Speaking of, now that the game has migrated to Steam, what happens to the people who bought the physical versions of not just CS but any other Valve game? Fortunately, using the CD key on their copy, it will activate it for their profile, so that's good. This Steam beta took a while, but before it was finally released on September 2003, there were a few other patches, and out of them, here are the most important. Bots were added, yes, the exact ones we all know, made by Turtle Rock initially for CZ, but they still got quite a few updates and changes to improve behavior. For example, if you TK, they will attack you, and that was always funny to see. Valve Anti-Cheat was introduced, new knife model, dynamic scaling for the scoreboard instead of having to scroll, plus even more GUI UI changes. Then, right before the final release, it says bots were removed, and I have no idea why. Auto snipers got increased damage and accuracy. Still not good enough though. Starting in 2004, timer was finally removed when bomb is planted, plus some economy updates. CTs winning with a timeout get the same reward, 3,250 instead of 2k. Terrorists get 800 per player for planting but losing. Dual elite price reduced to 800 and damage slightly increased. Yeah, that 1k price tag was a little bit outrageous. 2005 was relatively quiet. Gee, I wonder why. Well, there is one notable thing, and that is the release of Counter-Strike 1 Anthology, the last physical edition of the game. Bundled RCSCZ, Day of Defeat, Deathmatch Classic, and good old Ricochet. Well, they had to somehow justify the price. 2007, the infamous in-game advertisements were implemented. I've already extensively talked about them, but I made a mistake and thought they were only in the beta. In reality, they would plague the game for years to come. At least it was all placeholders, and I think some servers did manage to hide them somehow. In 2009, the Russian walking exploit was fixed. To be more specific, binding duck to mouse wheel causes this crouch bug we all know, but before this patch you could use it to move fast while not making a single step sound. This movement was so broken it was banned in professional play. Then in a later update, this fix was rolled back because, in the dev's own words, there are less impactful ways of preventing the bug. I don't know what that means, but hey, I can't recreate it, so that's good. But the hitbox part is still ass. The following years were almost completely void of anything, probably because of CSGO. In 2013, however, CS was converted to the new Steampipe content system that greatly improved and optimized the delivery of the game. Also, support for Mac plus Linux was released, and boy, let me tell ya, the updates this year were stacked. There was a fix for malicious clients being able to upload certain new files to servers. This was probably to address viruses on fake servers back when that was a much bigger issue. Another patch added the option to disable the use of HD models, a bit late but appreciated. Also, improved support for in-game chat in non-Latin, so in-game text can be in any language. But that's not all. Another update added low video quality for old GPUs, which is weird. I mean, even in 2013, how old must one's hardware be to not run this game? Raw input for mouse movement is very nice to have. Everything else is a laundry list of bug fixes, crash fixes, small quality of life improvements, CVAR-related optimizations, and Linux/Mac fixes. Most important of all that isn't mentioned anywhere, but as far as I know, some patch this year is when the in-game ads were completely removed from the game. But oh man, what a year it was for updates to this, at that point, 13-year-old game. Personally, I speculate this was done because Valve wanted to, from that point, leave the game as is, move to CSGO, and never touch this CS again, because for the next few years there were 0 updates. Until 2017 and 2018, a few small patches occurred. For 2019, there was a big security update that further prevented malicious files from being downloaded and edits to the user's config file. Thank God for that. Furthermore, a very unexpected update happened that isn't just bug fixing, but actual changes. First, some fixes for ancient issues that people probably have forgotten about since they are on weapons that aren't really used. Now for the juicy part. Player health and money are visible on the scoreboard, plus defuse kits for CTs. Oh my god, this was completely unprecedented so late into the game's lifespan. It baffles me how someone at Valve decided, what if we updated the scoreboard on this 20-year-old game? I don't think it's bad. If you don't like them, there are CVARs to hide it all, but who does this stuff to such an old game? It just... it fascinates me so much. Oh, and on top of that, the columns in the server browser have been rearranged to prevent certain abuse cases of faking player counts. Crazy stuff, but since then, nothing really else has come. Last thing of note was the anniversary update from November 2023. So basically, they added the same bobbing to the view model like in the old mod version, and the menu UI was made to resemble the WAN version. I mean, it's nice, but it only vaguely achieves that. Some would say not at all. It's not bad. I only don't understand why it was made to be the default, so if you don't like it, just please switch to the legacy Steam version. And that's kind of it. Who knows what might happen in the future? Maybe something for the 25th anniversary. Anyway, if we tally up all these updates, what is the current version of OGCS? Considering only the major ones, I think it's definitely above 1.6, way above. Doesn't feel like the same as it did in the early 2000s, though it may be so insignificant of a difference. I'm just delusional on that one. What I like the most is how it doesn't feel abandoned. Recent patches like the 2019 scoreboard one to me are an indication of acknowledgement from Valve. This game is still played by a significant enough number of people that it's worth maintaining in a safe, playable state. It's not completely devoid of malicious intent, but hey, can't win them all. I think it's great any updates happened at all, and it's really because so many people keep playing it, which is a testament to its legacy. Well, enough of this, you get the point. I'm gonna go do research on cabbages because I truly feel like we don't appreciate this vegetable enough. There's so much you can do with it for salads and dishes, like, come on, man.